Hello, guys. Welcome, everybody, to Purple Haze Podcast. I am your host who bleeds purple and gold, Isaac here. So, the Vikings, they get it done. They get their 7th win in a row, and they sweep the Chicago Bears at US Bank Stadium. Final score of 30-12. This is basically the Vikings. They absolutely dominated. You have to win. You had to win this game because the Buffalo Bills on Sunday, they beat the Detroit Lions. They helped us out. So the Vikings, it's like, here you go. You guys got to win. And they absolutely handled business against the Chicago Bears without any stress. So, I mean, absolutely amazing. It's just like one of YouTubers described it really well. Like, you never know what you're going to get from the Vikings with a W. The Vikings are going to get a W, but it's like you have no idea how they're going to do it, and they continue to find ways to win. Awesome job. So starting out with some good, I mean, Sam Darnold, he had an up and down night. He had an up and down day on Monday Night Football. He 24 for 40, 231 yards, a touchdown and an interception. I thought the interception, was more of like I guess a throw the ball, give your playmakers a chance, which I respect very much out of Sam Darnold. It's just that the offensive line collapsed. It was kind of hard to make a play, and it was an interception. I would say it's more of a good play by the Bears defense, if anything. And then he had some missed targets. He was off target for most of the time. He kind of missed Jefferson on some underthrows. He missed some wide open receivers. I mean, he wasn't like the Sam Darnold that we saw, the last 3 or 4 games ago. But he was still pretty solid, honestly. He still hung in there, though the best that he could. The run game was absolutely great. And considering how bad the offensive line was last night, the run game, they had 114 yards on the ground. Aaron Jones did not drop the ball at all. He was, I would say, the best player on the offense. It's kind of hard to believe, but he was. 18 carries, 86 yards. He had a touchdown, 2 catches for 20 yards. He had that insane screen pass on 3rd and 15, a dump off on 3rd and 15, and he just made something out of nothing, man. That is the Aaron Jones effect. Something Alexander Madison did not do. So Aaron Jones was absolutely phenomenal last night. Justin Jefferson, I mean, sure he had 1 drop, but he had 7 catches for 73 yards and a touchdown. I thought he was solid besides that 1 drop. Jordan Addison was big underneath instead of over the top. 7 catches for 63 yards. And TJ Hawkinson also was big on 3rd downs. All he does is catch 3rd down attempts. 5 catches for 52 yards. I felt like all of them were on 3rd down. And also Brian O'Neill, he was a warrior out there. He got dinged up a couple of times left, and then he came back, and he was probably the best player on this offensive line, which is why he is such an amazing player, man. Brian O'Neill, a warrior out there. The best, but the MVP of this team was the defense. They were awesome. I mean, they were very well awesome. I mean, they could not have played a more flawless game than that. The defense, because you remember last time they struggled against Caleb Williams, and it's not just the passing game, but also when Caleb Williams went outside the pocket, they also struggled with him on that. They held him in check. They rattled him all game long. 18 for 31, 191 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 scrambles for only 3 yards. Amazing. They only allowed 3.8 yards per carry. They got 2 sacks on the Caleb Williams. They also forced 2 turnover on downs and a fumble force, and forced a fumble all in the first half. They absolutely shut them. They held them out of the. They were 1 of 12. They only allowed 1 of 12 on third downs and 1 of 3 on fourth downs. Amazing. So a combined of 2 of 15. Amazing. The defense dominated the Bears this time. They made sure they never gave them a chance. And they also got 2 sacks. Josh Metellus, I mean, he played absolutely amazing. He was amazing in the passing game and in the run game too as well, getting after the quarterback. Blake Cashman, he was a missile. Of course he was. He was an absolute force out there. He also recovered that fumble, almost got some sacks. I don't know how many times he almost got a sack, but he got some really close sacks, probably to start off the first Bears drive. And Jonathan Grenard was also amazing. He was the best player on this team. 6 tackles, had a sack, also stripped that fumble, laid the woods on Caleb Williams. Also, speaking of laying the woods, Jihad Ward had a huge hit on Caleb Williams where he was like going back and forth, just trying to make something happen. He just laid the woods on him, man. And just a pure football hit, man. I think in the fourth quarter, Jihad Ward was an unsung hero there. Harrison Smith didn't have his best game, missed a tackle, but still, Harrison Smith still had some very big plays in Caleb Williams' scrambles, part of it, and also in the run game. He was solid. Dallas Turner also had a sack. Amazing job by them. And the defense, man, I mean, it's just basically unknown. But the defense, though, they carried this team to the victory. Also shout out to Will Reichard, who was perfect, who had a perfect night. And then we get to some of like the mistakes, because there seemed like there was just as many mistakes as the Bears. Like the drop pass by Justin Jefferson. Wide open, drops the pass, drops a touchdown pass. So I would say you at least erase 7 points, at the very least 3 points off the board. And also the offensive line was atrocious. Cam Robinson was probably worst game. Had 4 penalties, gave up pressure. Awful game by Cam Robinson. Blake Brandale had a bad game, and so did Garrett Bradbury. I mean, it just was not a good day by them, honestly. So, I mean, it definitely is hurting without Christian Darrisaw, and without Brian O'Neill to some certain degrees. And also the penalties. I mean, the penalties have to stop. I mean, it seems like most of the penalties, they had 10 penalties for 56 yards. One of them was on special teams where Trent Sherfield ran into the punter and extended the Bears possession. And also had multiple penalties on offense that kill drives. I believe like 8 or 9 penalties on offense, if I'm not mistaken. It was brutal offensively. And special teams, a bit had trickled down. And really, the only touchdown the Bears had, which was in garbage time, which the game was over, was off of a blocked punt thanks to the coverage team. Thanks to the punt coverage team for doing a terrible job. They blocked a punt, and then they ended up scoring 6 out of that to make it 27-12, which, it's whatever. It was over, but the offense was kind of hit and miss, in my opinion. The defense, there was nothing wrong with the defense last night, but the offense kind of had some bumps. They had 2 3-and-outs to start the second half, but overall, considering though, the offense was okay. They made the plays necessary that they needed to also. And also, KOC also, has gotten better at play calling. There was only like, I believe, like not very many play calls where it's like situational awareness and it's just like goofy. I don't think I saw one, or I did not see one last night. So Kevin O'Connell did a good job play calling overall. So the Vikings, they are now 12-2. Absolute amazing win last night. So the Vikings have 3 main games remaining in the regular season. They already punched their ticket into the postseason before the Bears game. So but you still had to win to basically tie with the Detroit Lions to go 12-2, and they did absolutely that. I can absolutely see them winning the rest of the games. The Seattle Seahawks, the Green Bay Packers, and the Detroit Lions, a showdown week 18. This is a very good football team, man. I said before, this is the recipe. It's just unknown, man, how they win games. It's just these new innovative and creative ways they win. It's ridiculous and amazing, man, in a very good way, man. So yeah, they control their own destiny from here. They gotta handle business, honestly. Usually they would lose games like this when other teams find ways to help you. The Vikings usually find a way to slip on the invisible banana peel and look dumb. But this time, they handled business against the Chicago Bears and dominated them. The offense was okay. The defense dominated them fully. But yeah, this team, the score would have been a lot worse if the mistakes weren't to happen. But can't complain much about a win, though. Can't complain much, man. Thank you guys so much also for attending my live stream last night. It was a whole lot of fun. A good stress-free game to watch on Monday night. Thank you guys so much, very much, for attending the live stream. I had such a good time, man. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Skol Vikings.